20th up into 17th, so he lost quite a lot of time, 7/10 in that final sector pretty much.
He's been a qualifying machine this year.
Yeah. It's Freitz. Whee!
Oh, that is commitment right there.
Cassidy was slowing down, Verne was going around Cassidy. Freitz was going around them both. He's got a lock up here and wide at 16.
He got into got a bit unsighted by the Nissan ahead of him. This is crazy right now. I don't know, I've seen it quite as tough as this before.
Freitz across the line, 21st at the moment, and remains 21st, 1.3 seconds down, but had a lot of traffic and a lot of errors on that lap, Robin Freitz.
And I think those errors were helped along by that traffic, Jack.
22 minutes to go. Van Dorn returns to the pit lane. Steady camera, Bird, Verline, De Vries and Askew all have already.
Ayo, cobain, dengerin.
Here comes Sebastian Buemi, Max Günther. His teammate Buemi was second quickest in first practice. Günther ended the session 18th quickest, but didn't actually get a lap in at full power. So that explains certainly some of the deficit to his teammate. He's not at full power here. And after the middle sector, he's 2.2 seconds away from Stoffel Van Dorn. Up into the final corner. Turn 16.
Turn 16 is another one of those corners with a curved braking zone. The car is straight for a minute percentage of this lap, which makes it difficult for the drivers, but also just tortures the tyre. And I think we'll only realise how much when we get into the race later this afternoon.
Giovinazzi starts a lap. He's 22nd at the moment. His teammate Sene Camera third quickest. He's not at full power here, Antonio Giovinazzi. As he comes into 2 and then 3.
Interesting, not a massively wide entry into turn 3. I thought it would take a wider entry there to open up the exit.
8/10 down in sector 1. Now into turn 7. Through 8, which becomes 9, which then flicks back left into 10. The Porsche of Verline up ahead and keeps out of the way as Giovinazzi comes through. He's now 2 seconds down after the middle sector. He's not in full power, and but nobody is on a flying lap just yet.
He could be doing a racing, race run here. He's trying to hit his energy targets, trying to look at how as he's regenerating energy, how the battery temperature's going up, all those sort of things. Just getting information for this afternoon. The drivers are getting used to the rhythm of the circuit as well, and just going quicker by having experience of the track, but just getting information, learning to give information to the engineers that they can give the best performance this afternoon.
Best result of 16th so far this season, Antonio Giovinazzi. Verline, meanwhile, has gone full power.
Dancing on the brakes.
Yeah, lovely.
It looks like he missed the corner though.
Right up to the wall as well on the exit of 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think he was just kind of trying to catch it most of the way through turn 1, and because of the width of the track in turn 1, it is a seriously quick corner.
God, he's 3/10 up after the first sector here, Pascal Verline.
Mighty commitment into 1.
Over the curves now into the quick flicks. Askew's up ahead of him. Keeps out of the way and he's still 3/10 up after sector 2. Also quick laps coming in from Sete Kammer and Sam Bird. As Verline comes through 16. Now into the final corner at turn 18. On the dirty stuff.
Just got a bit wide out of 18.
But still goes quickest. A 1 minute 8.410. 2/10 quicker than Stoffel Van Dorn, and the quickest lap time of the Jakarta E-Prix circuit. De Grassi comes through. Here comes Alexander Sims. He's 8/10 down after the first two sectors, not running at full power. What does Bird end up doing? He's 3/10 down after the middle sector, and he goes third quickest. Sam Bird in the Jaguar TCS car. I said the camera slotted into 5th place. It's a replay of Verline just getting a bit wide at the final corner.
Yeah, just trying to open up the exit as much as possible, trying to turn and accelerate as he left the corner, and you saw the result. As we've seen most of the seasons, a lot of focus on qualifying. A lot of quick laps being done, a lot of full power laps, a lot of maximum attack laps, not many race type laps with energy saving and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, just the way that the championship's changed with this new qualifying format. You want to be a championship contender, you've got to start up front now.
Yeah, it's so true, because they've been, as we ride with Mitch Evans down into turn 1. Let's go with the heads-up display a little bit wide of the apex, and he's bailed out of it.
Yeah, just didn't get in there. You can see the front of the car sliding.
But when Formula E started, it was sort of everyone focused on one lap pace. Then everybody realised actually efficiency was the way to win. And everybody focused on that. And then now we're kind of back to one lap pace being the really important again. Yeah, and obviously both are important and always have been. But it feels like focus went from one lap away to efficiency and now back a little bit to one lap.
Yeah, I think today efficiency is going to be important, again, because of the temperatures, because of how you can and cannot regenerate the energy as everything starts to get hot. You know, the battery temp starts to go up as you try and put more energy back into it.
The brakes are up to temp. And then we'll go scenario 3, push to 50, scenario 3, push to 50.
Alright, here we go.
Push 250 is the message. You can see the power up to 250 kilowatts on the right hand side, over 200. Kilometres an hour into turn 1.
Again, you see that wide entry, looking for the apex, but if oversteer gets the curb, back to the throttle, and just watch the way turn 1 goes straight into 2. Settle the car down, keep it over to the right-hand side to open up turn 4. He goes through the kink of 5 to again just feather in the throttle, trying not to spin the rear tyres up over the bumps. Curb braking zone into 7, the apex is over to the left. Don't go too wide though again, because into turn 8. This is through this great section of 8 into 9. Up against the wall through 10, but opening up the angle for 11. Back to the throttle. Oh, snapper oversteer flat through there into 12. Picking out your braking point. Through turn 13. Back to throttle again. Then you've got a couple of curved kinks there, and then braking again and turning into 16. Use the banking to your advantage. Through 17, just torturing the tyres. The tyres are really over their temperature by now. Pick out your apex, back to throttle. But you've got the rear dancing around. Run to the line. P6. What a great lap. For Nick de Vries, he will not be happy with that.
2 tenths in sector 1, pretty much matched Verline in sector 2, and then another couple of tenths in the final sector, which, considering Verline's sector he lost a bit of time, is not ideal. Here comes Oliver Turvey, who was reasonably quick in first practice, 15th fastest, which relatively for the Neos is decent. Here comes Turvey now, currently 13th. And he goes quickest. 1 minute 8.379. Pictum then goes quicker. Neo 1-2. Stop the clocks.
That Neo chassis looks like it's got a load of grip. Where you saw Nick de Vries sliding out of the last corner, Oliver Turvey was able to get the power down, and the car dug into the track. The car had good mechanical grip. You see the Porsche sliding around. Through here, the Neo looked a lot better. Very impressive stuff for the Neo team.
Yeah, Lotter's not going to beat the Neo lap time here. I don't think Stoffel Van Dorn is either. Well, it'll be close with Van Dorn. Here comes Lotterer. He only goes 7th quickest in the Porsche. Giovinazzi improved to go 11th fastest. There is the Neo team. Moderately happy by the looks of things. Here comes Van Dorn. He is less than a tenth away after sector 1. A few goes on the way in, a few goes on the way out, and Van Dorn comes through and remains 4th fastest. Improves, but doesn't improve his position.
That last corner is a tricky wee thing. It reminds me of the last corner at Adelaide.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you'll see this. Turn in, turn in.
Casper, no catch.
Yeah, exactly.
Good stuff.
So, Tixon quickest, Turvey 2nd, Verline 3rd, Van Dorn 4th, Sam Bird in 5th place. Eduardo Mortara is currently down in 13th spot. Jake Dennis has done a reasonable first sector. De Vries is at full power at the moment, and he's 2 tenths down after the middle sector. Dennis has just done the fastest final sector, and De Vries is right up to the wall on the exit of 12.
Using all the track. Again, I think the tyres are overheating. They've done a cool lap, but they're definitely not in their operating window. So being close to his time from before, I have to say that was an improvement.
De Vries then coming into the final corner. Again, the Mercedes EQ looking lively, much neater and tighter through the final corner. Dennis goes 6th quickest. De Vries comes through and remains in 10th. Doesn't actually improve his lap time in the end. There's a 1 minute 9.0 compared to 1 minute he's done before. Here's Eduardo Mortara, and he is just about to start a lap. So let's see what the second place man in the championship, the pole sitter for the last 2 races. Not many drivers have got 3 poles in a row. Alexander Sims and Antonio Felix da Costa are, I think, the only 2. Yeah. So Mortara would love to match them later on this afternoon. If he gets through the duels, Mortara, he's made the final every time this season.
Yeah, he's on a rich vein of form, isn't he, right now?
He's won more duels than anyone else. 10.
Oh, neat and tidy through 5. He's able to keep it nice and tight. Whether that translates to quick lap time, we'll see. A bit of traffic ahead.
Less than a tenth down on Dan Tickton.
This is the point you're looking at the car ahead thinking either keep going or I hope you've seen me. No, he's just see you. Yeah, he might be okay.
Middle sector split for Mortara. He's 3 tenths away from Tickton. Those Neo laps are legit.
Honestly, Jack, the car looked fantastic. It looked like it was digging in. It had really good mechanical grip. So nice work from the Neo team. Looking at correcting the slides all the way through 17. This tricky corner above 18. This is causing everybody fits. This just the angle and the speed taken in makes it very difficult.
Mortara jumps up to 11th quickest, 4 tenths away from Tickton. Jerome D'Ambrosio, the team principal, and Delphine Biscay, the team manager there of Rocket Venturi. And De Grassi, meanwhile, has done a good first sector, but he's sliding a lot in 16.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about Formula E car. You can hear that the screeching of tyres. When that happens, it means they're sliding over the surface. They don't have the grip required yet. Very messy out of 18. Tyres are not happy.
He was less than a tenth of a second away after the middle sector, lost a second in the final third of the lap. Jake Dennis is 600s up after the middle sector in the Andretti. Up into 6th goes Sergio Sette Camera. Here comes Jean-Eric Verne now. And he is 0.3 away after the middle sector. And he goes up into 7th place. Eyes peeled for Jake Dennis out of the final corner in the Andretti. 600s up. Does he go to the top of the times? He does. 1 minute 8.253. 800ths clear of Tictum. Turvey third. Verline fourth. Van Dorn fifth. That's a bit more like it for the Andretti team. Have had a tough season so far. Antonio Felix da Costa taking it very steady into the final corner to, well, he had enough gap anyway, but now he's on a quick lap.
I think he's just gone nice and easy on the tyres, trying to keep them in their out of their operating window as long as possible, trying to keep them going, and he locks up in turn 1, misses the apex, and that's the end of the lap. Really, look at the dust as he went offline. Turn 1 in the race this afternoon, lap 1, is going to be really interesting. Incredible amount of dust offline. See if he keeps pushing. What? DS to Cheetah looks pretty good over the bumps, where some of the other cars are really hitting the ground, and the dampers aren't sort of squashing the bumps. The DS to Cheetah looks like it's really absorbing the bumps very well.
8 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Mortara coming into the final corner, and he's a quarter of a second away from Jake Dennis, so if this goes well, he could get up into 5th place, right up towards the wall. Roland goes 7th quickest. Mortara doesn't improve.
I think he got the wall. I think he left a little mark on the wall. Small one.
Here's Antonio Felix da Costa coming. Oh, this was the lock-up into turn 1.
Just watch as he starts to turn, unload the front tyre, blocks up, misses the apex. Now watch the dust. Oh, he cut out with it. Just look at this, Neil. Look at the grip available. This I probably have a big slide.
Yeah.
Ah, there you go. There's your slide.
Wait, Turvey's all over the place. Got no grip at all.
Oh, just shut up now.
Through the first sector, he's a quarter of a second down on Dan Tictum. We're going to see Tictum's first sector on the bottom right. He's 0.2 away from their previous best. 7 minutes on the clock. Turvey through the middle sector, and he's almost half a second away and gets a little bit balked by Bird, I think. A little bit distracted. Tictum through the middle sector. He's 3.6 seconds away, so Tictum's backed off. Yeah. Practicing attack mode activation there. The Mahindra is pretty slow out on the outside there. You're going to lose a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. The position of the sensor is one thing, but the amount of dust. Imagine you're the first person to go into attack mode in the race. It's going to be pretty interesting. And I mean, interesting as in terrifying, and there's a good chance you either go slow or you're going to have a little meeting with the wall.
Roland into turn 1 now.
Looking good so far, Oliver Roland. Good attitude of the car.
Quickest in free practice 1 in here in Jakarta, and was quickest, I think, in one of the practice sessions in Berlin. Maybe even a couple of them. He was right at the front. Alexander Sims qualified really well for Mahindra in the first race. Roland picked up a strong 7th place in race 2. And his first sector here is less than a tenth away from Jake Dennis. Middle sector split comes just before the right-hander of 13. Onto the brakes. He's a quarter of a second down. But again, still could put him, well, he's already in 7th place. He has done a personal best in the middle sector, so if he can find time in the final sector, then he might be able to jump up a few places.
Yeah, you can hear the tyres sliding around though. Oliver Roland does not lack commitment, does he? Did a good job there. He managed to sort of square the corner off. Didn't try to carry the speed through the middle, but got better acceleration.
No improvement though, a tenth slower than he managed previously, Oliver Roland, and remains in 7th position. Jake Dennis still at the top of the times.
And just like that, it's 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, absolutely. absolutely.
If you haven't learned it by now, you might be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah. Roland saying he got no rear grip going for 2 cool-down laps.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Again, information for qualifying, but you can't do that many cool-down laps because otherwise you'd be out of time.
Yeah.
Tyre change.
Sims across the line to go 12th quickest. As you say, tyre changes around the field. De Vries. Out of the pits goes Senna Camera, out of the pits now goes De Vries, and here is Antonio Giovinazzi on a full power lap into turn 1. Through 2, tightening into 3. Then switching back left around the mall, down towards turn 7. First sector split for Antonio Giovinazzi. He's only 2 tenths away from Dennis. That's a reasonable first sector for the Italian.
Yeah, it looks like he's not overdriving the car, shall we say. There's a lot of understeers through the middle of the corner. He's having to put a lot of lock in to get the car to turn. But he's not fighting the rear of the car so far. Let's see, when he gets to 13, does the front of the car dig in? Does he manage to turn? Yeah, very nice through 13 for Giovinazzi.
Still only 2 tenths down on Dennis's time here, so this could be a pretty decent effort for Antonio Giovinazzi.
Neat and tidy, just driving the car within the grip level that is available to him.
No slides through 17, out through 18, up to the wall, across the line, and Antonio Giovinazzi, 5th quickest.
Nice.
That's very encouraging for the Dragon man. It's a couple of tenths quicker than his teammate Sergio Senna Camera.
Antonio, excellent second and third sectors there. I saw you caught Degrassi there in sector 1, but overall very good.
That's the voice of Jay Pensky.
Yeah, giving in some feedback. Sam Bird, only a tenth down on Jake Dennis here, so Bird's got a chance of getting up towards the top 5 as he comes into 16.
He didn't turn in much. The car turned in for him, the rear slided up. Actually decent through 17 too. Just watch towards the end of the corner if he's had to correct, turn back to the left. No, really good out of 18 for Sam Bird and the Jaguar. They're only 7th quickest.
2.5 minutes on the clock. Jake Dennis is quickest currently on a 1:08.253. Eduardo Mortara slots into 2nd place. Here's Mitch Evans in the Jaguar coming into turn 13. Robin Freitz keeps out of the way, and Evans is up here. Only by a couple of hundredths, but he is up on Jake Dennis's time. Dennis has just started another flying lap. Less than 3 minutes to go.
Maybe slightly offline with the traffic. Even if the traffic gets out of your way, if you've got to go offline, if there's dirt on your tyres, that can ruin the lap. A bit of traffic ahead. Lucas de Grassi starting his lap. Mitch Evans coming to the line.
The Jaguar driver goes 2nd. 15 thousandths away from Jake Dennis, who is himself up on his previous best by 300ths now.
That's a good lap from Mitch Evans with the amount of traffic he had in this last sector.
Dennis into 16. Way back in trying to go.
Yeah, helped him rotate through the corner though.
Catches the right front.
Did he miss the
Scrappy through the final corner, right up to the wall. And does Dennis manage to improve? No. Lost quite a bit of time in those final couple of corners. Only maybe a tenth or so, but it's enough.
Yeah, he knows that if he ties a lap together, it's all looking good. Robin Freitz looks like he caught one of the Neos through the 9, 10, 11 sector, and that might have cost him time.
Dennis said that was a terrible lap on the radio afterwards. Freitz has to lunge it on Askew. He's only 2 tenths down after the middle sector, but that will have cost him a decent amount of time. He's currently down in 22nd place, Robin Freitz. Oh, and he's got traffic here from De Grassi too.
Yeah, De Grassi not helping at all. You probably couldn't see him, and it's massively out of shape through 17, puts him offline for 18. Dirt on the tyres.
Well, there was some pace in there as he comes across the line and comes up into 20th place, but it was a lot of traffic. That was like downtown Jakarta.
Traffic is pretty bad here.
Yeah, it's really bad. On board with Sam Bird, which is part of the reason that Jakarta wants a Formula E race here, to improve the governor was saying the other day, to improve the eco-friendly nature of the city, and to improve the sustainability of the city. And traffic is a bad issue in Jakarta. Here comes a bird that we're on board with into the final corner. He's getting some traffic, and
Da Costa's on a lap. Da Costa 21st quickest right now by 2.5 tenths up.
Vern's on a lap as well. Jean-Eric Vern's going quicker. The checker flag is ready. Mortara comes across the line. He goes third quickest, but look at Jean-Eric Vern, 4 tenths up on Jake Dennis after the middle sector. Da Costa goes quickest, the 1 minute 7.993. The DS to Cheetahs flexing in the final minutes of free practice 2. Vern through the final corner, out across the line. DS to Cheetah 1-2. 4 tenths, Vern ahead of Da Costa.
Yeah, that's a massive margin.
That was where Da Costa lost some time in the final sector, so that's why he was 2 tenths slower than Vern. Still to go second quickest with that huge moment is quite stunning.
Yeah, absolutely, Jack. And like you say, DS to Cheetah waiting till the end, and then there you go. 1-2.
No wonder they're all chuckling, having a bit of a laugh.
James Barkley looks very serious.
4th quickest for Mitch Evans, and I think everybody has completed their laps now.
If I'm sitting there as a driver right now, thinking if I'm Sam Bird, Mitch Evans, I'm thinking if I can tie a lap together, Jake Dennis too, if I can do a clean lap, I've got a shot. I've got a shot not only getting the duels, but a pole position too.
Neo, ended up 6th and 7th.
That's really good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what happens come qualifying a little bit later on. But Jean-Eric Vern is the driver who ends the session fastest. A 1 minute 7.594. 7 tenths clear of another team. Jake Dennis in 3rd, Evans in 4th. I mean, that's a... And qualifying hasn't actually been DS to Cheetah's strength. Dan Tickton, 6th quickest in the end. And he was telling me yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before, doesn't matter, but he was saying that he's hoping that being a rookie, with everyone having a new track to learn, that could kind of play to his advantage a little bit. He backs himself as a driver who learns tracks quickly.
I think he does, absolutely. And I can tell you from experience, it's so much easier when you're on a level playing field. When you show up somewhere and you're racing against guys with 3, 4, 5 years experience on a circuit, it's so difficult, especially with an hour of practice.
Like you at Surfers Paradise.
Surfers Paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some practice starts, some deciding not to take the practice starts, which is quite interesting.
I think tyres are so out of the window that they're going to have on the start that, they maybe think it'll put us off. We know what we've got. We'll just deal with it.
The starts are fairly even these days as well, aren't they?
Again, because of the technology.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's got the car and all of the stuff that helps, but
and there's no need. You don't need to find a clutch bite point or anything like that.
yeah, especially with hand clutches, that's really difficult.
Yeah, I bet.
I always thought it was like eating your dinner with your feet.
I've never tried eating my dinner with my feet.
Neither have I.
Oh, okay, fine. I thought that was going to be some kind of revelation.
I want to see people try and go on the inside here.
Yeah.
See how dusty and dirty it is. Otherwise, it's going to come as a surprise on lap 1.
Here they come. As you see, they're both just slotting into that left-hand side, and it kind of curves left a little, doesn't it, as well, on the run down to the first corner. Here comes Tickton. See, turning left to run with the wall on the outside, and then coming into the right-hander. Antonio Felix da Costa, second fastest, a 1 minute 7.993. How they know each other, but they appear to. Down at Mahindra. And a very, very strong start to the session, or start to the day, for DS to Cheetah, because Jean-Eric Vern was 5th quickest in free practice 1. DS to Cheetah 1-2 in free practice 2. Jean-Eric Vern ahead of Antonio Felix da Costa. Jake Dennis 3rd, Mitch Evans 4th, Eduardo Mortara in 5th. And then Ticktum, Turvey, Verline, Giovinazzi and Van Dorn. So the two Neos and Giovinazzi all quite feel-good stories from that session. Stan Bird in 11th place. He got traffic on his second push lap. That's the reason he didn't actually improve on his second run. Nick Cassidy improved on the final lap to get him into 16th place. And Vision looked like they might be a little bit adrift with Cassidy 16th, Freinz 21st. Okay, Freinz was only a couple of tenths down after the first sector before he then got traffic, but wasn't exactly setting the world alight. Oliver Askew for Avalanche Andretti down to the back. Another rookie who you thought maybe it would favour coming into this weekend in Jakarta. Qualifying next. Tough to call.
Whoever puts the lap together has got a chance of getting into the duels here and getting on pole position. It's so close. You've got to put all 18 corners together.
Da Costa, certainly a popular gentleman, and he saying hi to everybody on his way past. He was with the Andretti team for a couple of seasons.
He's just a good guy.
He is. Andre Lotterer.
Nice headgear.
Yeah. Taking his way back to the Porsche garage. Pascal Wehrlein, 8th quickest. Went quickest earlier on, didn't he? But then switched away, lost 3 tenths in the middle sector, 4 tenths in the final sector to Jean-Eric Verne. The DS cheaters look, that's fairly ominous, those laps, weren't they?
That was looking really good, really close, but they've just smashed it.
Yeah.
But I do think that, as I said, that they've got the ability to put a lap together to be right up there with them.
Evans 4th fastest for the Jaguar TCS racing team, also 4th in the championship standings, that double win in Rome, launching him into contention. Dan Ticktum, 6th quickest for Neo 333.
Always good when you go back to the garage, you look at the timesheet and your name's up there. Psychologically, nice to see.
And there is also FanBoost to get involved with too. You can scan the QR code or head to fiaformulary.com/fanboost to vote for your favourite driver to get an additional burst of power in the second half of the E-Prix. Stoffel Van Dorn winning it as ever. Da Costa involved in there as well. De Vries, Verne and Evans, the 5 drivers currently receiving that vote. Vote once per day, and voting closes once the race is underway. Van Dorn, Da Costa, De Vries, Verne and Evans, the driver with it at the moment. So, end of the second free practice session for the Jakarta E-Prix, the first ever Formula E race in Indonesia, the first single-seater motorsport race since 2006. And half of the gang wanted to get straight out on track. Antonio Felix da Costa locked up into turn 13, not for the first time today. Maybe not for the last. Mitch Evans ended the session 4th fastest as he was weaving his way through the traffic in the early stages, which was a real challenge. Nick De Vries diving out of the way at the final corner. There was also this moment as Freinz and Verne and Cassidy went 3 wide. Into turn 13. Pascal Wehrlein was quick in the early stages, went to the top of the times, and then the Neos went into 1st and 2nd. Dan Ticktum ahead of his teammate Oliver Turvey. Freinz got some more traffic here behind Lucas de Grassi. That cost him lap time and meant he only finished the session 21st quickest. Jake Dennis was looking quick. He was at the top of the times. Going into the final few moments. Pit stop. And tyre changes all round for some final runs. And despite this lockup, Antonio Felix da Costa finished 2nd quickest. And it was Jean-Eric Verne when the checker flag fell, who went 4 tenths quicker than his teammates, 7 tenths quicker than any other team. And DS Techeetah looking very, very strong for qualifying, which is coming up in just an hour's time. Oliver Turvey has grown a moustache this weekend, and to reflect that, the team have affixed a moustache to the screen outside the garage. But it's going to be tough. And there is Oliver Turvey, and we'll be back for qualifying in an hour.
Habis itu. Habis. Habis ya. Habis. Ayo tuh mati. Habis. Ano makan ya? Ah, kagak.
the morning, so this is going to be a warm one.
It only says 63% humidity.
Yeah.
I'm going to argue with that.
I think it's 120.
Yeah, it's unbelievably humid, unbelievably hot, and we're sitting in air conditioning now. The drivers, the teams working on the cars, very, very testing conditions for them today.
Nick de
And
Vries.
for the cars too.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick de Vries, the reigning champion, and he and Antonio Felix da Costa had a bit of a moment in the first practice session coming down into turn 13. And a few gesticulations followed between the two of them. This is what happened as da Costa went to the inside, de Vries came across, and da Costa had to take evasive action.
I think de Vries was actually trying to get out of the way and just mistimed it. With the Formula E car, with these spoilers at the back, the mirrors, it's very difficult to see what's going on behind, and that's where you need the engineers to help you. And just I think a miscommunication. But this next bit, you can definitely tell they're not happy with each other. And that's what I kind of expected de Vries to give a wave and say, "I sorry, I've messed up," but no, they just kept at it.
That's da Costa's reaction. But now focus on free practice 2. De Vries not heading straight out, interestingly, even though Mercedes EQ are at the front of the line, nor DS Techeetah. So that's an interesting. Normally everybody heads straight out on track. Some have, but not everybody.
But they're trying to get a real qualifying simulation in. They're trying to go out when the tyres are actually cold, because as we talked about in the brake jack, even if you cool the tyres down, they're not actually where they would be when you go out and you head out to qualifying later on.
Yeah, after a cool down lap, and they're doing really slow cool down laps, the tyres come down to about 60 degrees centigrade, whereas right now, if they did an out lap and then a push lap, it would be 30 or 40 degrees centigrade, so they just can't get them down to that window.
But that's what they're going to experience in group qualifying anyway later on, because it's going to be the laps towards the end of group qualifying which are going to be the quicker ones when the track's better, but the tyres maybe are a bit warmer, and you've really got to judge that well, cool the tyres down and get that one special lap in, because we heard earlier in free practice 1, drivers saying the tyres are going off during the lap.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with that left-hander at turn 17, you don't want the rear tyres to be struggling at that point. And it's mainly the rears, I think, that the heat is struggling with. It's the back end is sliding rather than you're sort of understeering.
Yeah, absolutely. But what you have to do for the race is you have to build understeer into the setup, so hex those rear tyres as much as possible for the 45 minutes plus 1 lap. So you're going to end up with a bit of understeer early in the race, but then you're going to feel the rear tyres start to overheat, start to slide around a bit more. And that not only affects the car, in acceleration and cornering, but how much energy the drivers are able to regenerate into the battery, because obviously the more grip, the more pressure you can put into that rear axle and regenerate more energy. So that's going to limit that this afternoon, and the drivers they're up against it. I think it's going to be a fascinating battle. I think it's 45 minute plus a lap race, but I think there's a bit of survival as well.
Maybe a bit of rain, but the forecast says basically it's 50-50 chance. So, and that's kind of how it is in these parts. It either sort of rains or it doesn't. So I guess that is a 50% chance, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it
It's
looks
all
like
very Q-y, isn't it? Before 18.
It looks like it's getting away, actually. The chance of rain is going later in the afternoon. Lucas de Grassi bouncing over the bumps into turn 7.
So I think you're right. Everybody's doing an outlap and then just getting straight on it at 250 kilowatts of power, replicating a duel, basically. But even when you get, you're only replicating really the quarter-final, aren't you? Because then once you're into the semis and the finals, your tyres have got that heat in them anyway. Yeah, and also if you've just come out from qualifying Group B, you're not really replicating that either, because you've just been on those tyres for ages.
And this is where you have to use your experience as a team and as a driver to know exactly what the offset is and what you're searching for the perfect balance for those laps. You see Lucas de Grassi just the back end of the car squirming around as he tries to put the power down out of turn 18. 108.7, quickest this morning with 108.4.
That's reasonable actually, straight out the blocks. And with the track, you would have thought getting a little bit dirtier in the gap between the sessions.
And a lot warmer.
And a lot warmer, yeah.
Yeah, look how dark the asphalt is, and with the sun beating down on is going to be a real challenge. We talked about these long corners, turns 1, 2 and 3. The cars are now in turn 3. It's one long corner. It's just torturing those left-hand side tyres.
26 minutes to go. Here comes Nick de Vries across the line. Van Dorn now goes fastest. All these lap times flying in as people do their first runs. It's still de Grassi's time that is holding up. Van Dorn has gone quicker by a tenth, but de Grassi's still second fastest. Oliver Rowland, who was quickest in free practice 1, now goes sixth quickest. Alexander Sims sliding his way out of the final corner, and he comes across the line and goes 15th quickest. Mitch Evans starting a lap by the looks of things in the Jaguar. Down towards turn 1. Here's a look at Da Costa into turn 13. Pretty big lockup.
Yeah, that is sizable. He's trying to get off the brakes, trying not to flat spot the tyres. These tyres are very robust and the car hitting the ground. He just unloads the inside front just by turning to the right a bit. It unloads the right hand side tyre. You see the lockup. So we're now watching Mitch Evans out against the wall, coming down to brake for turn 7. Bouncing around on the brakes. Mitch Evans got such a lovely, smooth driving style. He's got a Porsche ahead of him too, though, which might hold him up. No, nice work from the Porsche to get out of the way.
10th and a half up after sector 1. We'll get his middle sector split as he comes through the right-hander now of 12 and then down into 13. Bit of traffic ahead. He's now half a tenth down on Stoffel Van Dorn, so he's lost a tenth compared to the Belgian in the middle sector.
And this is the bit where you've got to trust the guys around you. Look at this. This is proper rush hour stuff now. And you've got to hope that these guys see you get out of the way. And you've got to commit to it. Oh, really late stuff. This is dangerous stuff here.
Evans gets ahead of de Vries in the end, comes across the line, and it was a 9th place lap time for Mitch Evans. Lost half a second in that final sector.
Yeah, and he just couldn't commit, Jack, in that final sector because he's feathering the throttle as this guy going to get out of my way. And you can see Nick de Vries trying to do the right thing. You've got Sam Byrne and the other Jaguar just appearing to the right of the screen, but everybody's trying to do their best to get out of the way. But you just don't know if they've seen you or not, so you cannot fully commit.
And Evans was a bit out of sequence in all of that, wasn't he? Doing his lap later than everybody else, so everybody else was slowing down to get a gap again. Less than 24 minutes to go. Van Dorn fastest, de Grassi second, Buemi third, Gunter fourth, Turvey fifth. And this is Andre Lotterer, who's at full power, coming past them all on his left-hand side and right up to the wall on the exit, and he's got a 10th and a half. Back end going, front end locking, kind of got it in.
Yeah, kind of, but the trajectory was wrong. The car was pointing more to the outside wall than through the corner, so he might have lost a bit of time there.
Through 11 and 12.
Oh, traffic again.
He's 2 tenths down now. Sailing into turn 13.
Yeah, look good through the middle of 13. Let's see how much understeer he's got. 16. Bank corner. Oh, I missed the apex.
Yeah. So I think the time is way here for Andre Lotterer into the final corner. Sete Camera goes third quickest in the Dragon. Lotterer goes from 20th up into 17th, so he lost quite a lot of time. 7 tenths in that final sector, pretty much.
He's been a qualified machine this year.
Yeah. His fronts. Wait!
Oh, that is commitment right there.
Cassidy was slowing down. Verne was going around Cassidy. Fries was going around them both. He's got a lock-up here and wide at 16.
Yeah, he got unsighted by the Nissan ahead of him. This is crazy right now. I don't know, I've seen it quite as tough as this before.
France across the line, 21st at the moment, and remains 21st, 1.3 seconds down. But had a lot of traffic and a lot of errors on that lap, Robin France.
I think those errors were helped along by that traffic, Jack.
Minutes to go. Van Dorn returns to the pit lane. So the camera, Bird, Verline, de Vries and Askew all have already. And here comes Sebastian Buemi. Max Gunter. His teammate Buemi was second quickest in first practice. Gunter ended the session 18th quickest, but didn't actually get a lap in at full power. So that explains certainly some of the deficit to his teammate. He's not at full power here. And after the middle sector, he's 2.2 seconds away from Stoffel Van Dorn. Up into into the final corner. Turn 16.
Turn 16 is another one of those corners with a curved braking zone. The car is straight for a minute percentage of this lap, which makes it difficult for the drivers, but also just tortures the tyre. And I think we'll only realise how much when we get to the race later this afternoon.
Giovinazzi starts a lap. He's 22nd at the moment. His teammate Sene Camera third quickest. He's not at full power here, Antonio Giovinazzi. As he comes into 2 and then 3.
Interesting, not massively wide entry into turn 3. I thought it would take a wider entry there to open up the exit.
8 tenths down in sector 1. Now into turn 7. Through 8, which becomes 9, which then flicks back left into 10. The Porsche of Wehrlein up ahead and keeps out of the way as Giovinazzi comes through. He's now 2 seconds down after the middle sector. He's not in full power, and but nobody is on a flying lap just yet.
And he could be doing a racing, race run here. He's trying to hit his energy targets, trying to look at how as he's regenerating energy, how the battery temperature's going up, all those sort of things. Just getting information for this afternoon. The drivers are getting used to the rhythm of the circuit as well, and just going quicker by having experience of the track, but just getting information, learning to give information to the engineers that they can give the best performance this afternoon.
Best result of 16th so far this season, Antonio Giovinazzi. Wehrlein, meanwhile, has gone full power.
Dancing on the brakes.
Yeah, lovely.
It looks like he missed the corner though.
Right up to the wall as well on the exit of 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think he was just kind of trying to catch it most of the way through turn 1, and because of the width of the track in turn 1, it is a seriously quick corner.
God, he's 3 tenths up after the first sector here, Pascal Wehrlein.
Mighty commitment into 1.
Over the curves now into the quick flicks. Askew's up ahead of him. Keeps out of the way, and he's still 3 tenths up after sector 2. Also quick laps coming in from Sete Camera and Sam Bird. As Wehrlein comes through 16. Now into the final corner at turn 18. On the dirty stuff.
Just got a bit wide out of 18.
But still goes quickest. A 1 minute 8.410. 2 tenths quicker than Stoffel Van Dorn, and the quickest lap time of the Jakarta E-Prix circuit. Degrassi comes through. Here comes Alexander Sims. He's 8 tenths down after the first 2 sectors, not running at full power. What does Bird end up doing? He's 3 tenths down after the middle sector, and he goes third quickest, Sam Bird, in the Jaguar TCS car. Sete Camera slotted into 5th place. Here's a replay of Wehrlein just getting a bit wide at the final corner.
Just trying to open up the exit as much as possible, trying to turn and accelerate as he left the corner, and you saw the result. As we've seen most of the seasons, a lot of focus on qualifying, a lot of quick laps being done, a lot of full power laps, a lot of maximum attack laps, not many race type laps with energy saving and all that sort of stuff. And just the way that the championship changed with this new qualifying format. You want to be a championship contender, you've got to start up front now.
Yeah, it's so true, because they've been, as we ride with Mitch Evans down into turn 1. Let's go with the heads-up display a little bit wide of the apex, and he's bailed out of it.
Yeah, just didn't get in there. You can see the front of the car sliding.
But when Formula E started, it was sort of everyone focused on 1 lap pace. Then everybody realised actually efficiency was the way to win. And everybody focused on that. And then now we're kind of back to 1 lap pace being the really important again. Yeah, and obviously both are important and always have been. But it feels like focus went from 1 lap away to efficiency, and now back a little bit to 1 lap.
Yeah, I think today efficiency is going to be important, again, because of the temperatures, because of how you can and cannot regenerate the energy as everything starts to get hot. You know, the battery temp starts to go up as you try and put more energy back into it.
The brakes are up the top. Then we'll go scenario 3, push to 50, scenario 3, push to 50.
Right, here we go.
Push 250 is the message. You can see the power up to 250 kilowatts on the right hand side, over 200 kilometers an hour into turn 1.
Again, you see that wide entry, looking for the apex, bit of oversteer, gets the curb, back to the throttle, and just watch the way turn 1 goes straight into 2. Settle the car down, keep it over to the right hand side to open up turn 4. You go through the kink of 5, again just ferret in the throttle, trying not to spin the rear tyres up over the bumps. Curve braking zone into 7, apex is over to the left. Don't go too wide though again, because into turn 8. This is through this great section of 8, into 9, up against the wall through 10, but opening up the angle for 11. Back to the throttle, snapper oversteer, flat through there into 12. Picking out your braking point. Through turn 13. Throttle again, then you've got a couple of curved kinks there, then braking again and turning into 16. Use the banking to your advantage. Through 17, just torturing the tyres are really over their temperature by now. Pick out your apex, back to throttle, but you've got the rear dancing around. Run to the line. P6, not a great lap. For Nick de Vries, he will not be happy with that.
2 tenths in sector 1, pretty much matched Verline in sector 2, and then another couple of tenths in the final sector, which, considering Verline's sector he lost a bit of time, is not ideal. Here comes Oliver Turvey, who was reasonably quick in first practice, 15th fastest, which relatively for the Neos is decent. Here comes Turvey now, currently 13th. And he goes quickest. 1 minute 8.379 ticked him, then goes quicker. Neo 1-2, stop the clocks.
That Neo chassis looks like it's got a load of grip, where you saw Nick de Vries sliding out of the last corner. Oliver Turvey was able to get the power down, and the car dug into the track. The car had good mechanical grip. You see the Porsche sliding around. Through here, the Neo looked a lot better. Very impressive stuff for the Neo team.
Yeah, Lotter's not going to beat the Neo lap time here. I don't think Stoffel Van Dorn is either. Well, it'll be close with Van Dorn. Here comes Lotterer. He only goes 7th quickest in the Porsche. Giovinazzi improved to go 11th fastest. There is the Neo team. Moderately happy by the looks of things. Here comes Van Dorn. He is less than a tenth away after sector 1. A few goes on the way in, a few goes on the way out, and Van Dorn comes through and remains 4th fastest. Improves, but doesn't improve his position.
That last corner is a tricky wee thing. It reminds me of the last corner at Adelaide.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you'll see this. Turn in, turn in. Catch. Yeah, exactly.
Good stuff.
So, Tixon quickest, Turvey 2nd, Verline 3rd, Van Dorn 4th, Sam Bird in 5th place. Eduardo Mortara is currently down in 13th spot. Jake Dennis has done a reasonable first sector. De Vries is at full power at the moment, and he's 2 tenths down after the middle sector. Dennis has just done the fastest final sector, and De Vries is right up to the wall on the exit of 12.
Using all the track again. I think the tyres are overheating. They've done a cool lap, but they're definitely not in their operating window. So if you get close to his time from before, you have to say that was an improvement.
De Vries then coming into the final corner again. The Mercedes EQ looking lively, much neater and tighter through the final corner. Dennis goes 6th quickest. De Vries comes through and remains in 10th. Doesn't actually improve his lap time in the end. There's a 1 minute 9.0 compared to a 1 minute 8.8 that he's done before. Here's Eduardo Mortara, and he is just about to start a lap. So let's see what the second place man in the championship, the pole sitter for the last 2 races. Not many drivers have got 3 poles in a row. Alexander Sims and Antonio Felix da Costa are, I think, the only 2. Yeah. So Mortara would love to match them later on this afternoon. If he gets through the duels, Mortara, he's made the final every time this season.
Yeah, he's on a rich vein of form, isn't he, right now?
He's won more duels than anyone else. 10.
Oh, neat and tidy through 5. He's able to keep it nice and tight. But that translates to quick lap time. See, a bit of traffic ahead.
Less than a tenth down on Dan Tickton. Mortara. He's 3/10 away from Tictum. Those neo laps are legit.
Honestly, Jack, the car looked fantastic. It looked like it was digging in. It had really good mechanical grip. So nice work from the Neo team. Look at him correcting the slides all the way through 17. This tricky corner of 18. This is causing everybody fits. This, just the angle and the speed taken in makes it very difficult.
Mortara jumps up to 11th quickest, 4/10 away from Tictum. Jerome D'Ambrosio, the team principal, and Delphine Biscay, the team manager there of Rocket Venturi. And Degrassi, meanwhile, has done a good first sector, but he's sliding a lot in 16.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about Formula E car. You can hear that the screeching of tyres. When that happens, it means they're sliding over the surface. They don't have the grip required yet. Very messy out of 18. Tyres are not happy.
He was less than 1/10 of a second away after the middle sector, lost a second in the final third of the lap. Jake Dennis is 600s up after the middle sector in the Andretti. Up into 6th goes Sergio Sede Camera. Here comes Jean-Eric Verne now. And he is 3/10 away after the middle sector. And he goes up into 7th place. Eyes peeled for Jake Dennis out of the final corner in the Andretti. 600s up. Does he go to the top of the times? He does. A 1:08 8.253. 800ths clear of Tictum. Turby third. Verline fourth. Van Dorn fifth. That's a bit more like it for the Andretti team. Have had a tough season so far. Antonio Felix da Costa taking it very steady into the final corner to, well, he had enough gap anyway, but now he's on a quick lap.
I think he's just gone nice and easy on the tyres, trying to keep them in their out of their operating window as long as possible, trying to keep them going. And he locks up in turn 1, misses the apex, and that's the end of the lap. Really, look at the dust as he went offline. Turn 1 in the race this afternoon, lap 1, is going to be really interesting. Incredible amount of dust offline. See if he keeps pushing. Tell you what, DS to Cheetah looks pretty good over the bumps, where some of the other cars are really hitting the ground, and the dampers aren't sort of squashing the bumps. The DS to Cheetah looks like it's really absorbing the bumps very well.
8 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Mortara coming into the final corner, and he's a quarter of a second away from Jake Dennis. So if this goes well, he could get up into 5th place, right up towards the wall. Roland goes 7th quickest. Mortara doesn't improve.
I think he got the wall. I think he left a little mark on the wall. Small one.
Here's Antonio Felix da Costa coming. Oh, this was the lock-up into turn 1.
Just watch as he starts to turn, unload the front tyre, blocks up, misses the apex. Now watch the dust. Oh, he cut out with it. Oh, look at him. Just look at this, Neil. Look at the grip available. This guy probably have a big slide.
Yeah.
Ah, there you go. There's your slide.
Wait, Turby's all over the place. Got no grip at all.
Oh, just shut up.
Through the first sector, he's a quarter of a second down on Dan Tictum. We're going to see Tictum's first sector on the bottom right. He's 2/10 away from their previous best. 7 minutes on the clock. Turby through the middle sector, and he's almost half a second away and gets a little bit balked by Bird, I think. A little bit distracted. Tictum through the middle sector. He's 3.6 seconds away, so Tictum's backed off. Yeah. Practicing attack mode activation there. The Mahindra is really slow out on the outside there. You're going to lose a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. The position of the sensor is one thing, but the amount of dust. Imagine you're the first person to go into attack mode in the race. It's going to be pretty interesting. And I mean, interesting as in terrifying, and there's a good chance you're going to go slow, you're going to have a little meeting with the wall.
Roland into turn 1 now.
Looking good so far, Oliver Roland. Good attitude of the car.
Quickest in free practice 1 in here in Jakarta, and was quickest, I think, in one of the practice sessions in Berlin. Maybe even a couple of them. He was right at the front. Alexander Sims qualified really well for Mahindra in the first race. Roland picked up a strong 7th place in race 2. And his first sector here is less than a tenth away from Jake Dennis. Middle sector split comes just before the right-hander of 13. Onto the brakes. He's a quarter of a second down. But again, still could put him, well, he's already in 7th place. He has done a personal best in the middle sector, so if he can find time in the final sector, then he might be able to jump up a few places.
Yeah, you can hear the tyres sliding around though. Oliver Rowland does not lack commitment, does he? Did a good job there. He managed to sort of square the corner off. Didn't try to carry the speed through the middle, but got better acceleration.
No improvement though, a tenth slower than he managed previously, Oliver Rowland, and remains in 7th position. Jake Dennis still at the top of the times.
Just like that, it's 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you haven't learned it by now, you might be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah. Rowland saying he got no rear grip going for 2 cool-down laps.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Again, information qualifying, but you can't do that many cool-down laps because otherwise you'd be out of time.
Yeah.
Tyres change.
Sims across the line to go 12th quickest. As you say, tyre changes around the field. Big De Vries. Out of the pits goes Senna Camera, out of the pits now goes De Vries, and here is Antonio Giovinazzi on a full power lap into turn 1. Through 2, tightening into 3. Then switching back left around them all, down towards turn 7. First sector split for Antonio Giovinazzi is only 2 tenths away from Dennis. That's a reasonable first sector for the Italian.
Yeah, it looks like he's not overdriving the car, shall we say. There's a lot of understeer through the middle of the corner. He's having to put a lot of lock in to get the car to turn. But he's not fighting the rear of the car so far. Let's see, when he gets to 13, does the front of the car dig in? Does he manage to turn? Yeah, very nice through 13 for Giovinazzi.
Still only 2 tenths down on Dennis's time here, so this could be a pretty decent effort for Antonio Giovinazzi.
Keep it tidy, just driving the car within the grip level that is available to him.
No slides through 17, out through 18, up to the wall, across the line, and Antonio Giovinazzi, 5th quickest.
Nice.
That's very encouraging for the Dragon man. It's a couple of tenths quicker than his teammate Sergio Senna Camera.
Antonio, excellent second and third sectors there. I saw you caught Degrassi there in sector 1, but overall very good.
That's voice of Jay Penske.
Yeah, giving in some feedback. Sam Bird, only a tenth down on Jake Dennis here, so Bird's got a chance of getting up towards the top 5 as he comes into 16.
He didn't turn in much. The car turned in for him, the rear slided up. Actually decent through 17 too. Just watch towards the end of the corner if he has to correct, turn back to the left. No, really good out of 18 for Sam Bird and the Jaguar.
They're only 7th
quickest.
2.5 minutes on the clock. Jake Dennis is quickest currently on a 1:08.253. Eduardo Mortara slots into 2nd place. Here's Mitch Evans in the Jaguar coming into turn 13. Robin Freitz keeps out of the way, and Evans is up here. Only by a couple of hundredths, but he is up on Jake Dennis's time. Dennis has just started another flying lap. Less than 3 minutes to go.
Maybe slightly offline with the traffic. Even if the traffic gets out of your way, if you've got to go offline, if there's dirt on your tyres, that can ruin the lap. A bit of traffic ahead. Lucas de Grassi starting his lap. Mitch Evans coming to the line.
The Jaguar driver goes 2nd. 15 thousandths away from Jake Dennis, who is himself up on his previous best by 300ths now.
That's a good lap from Mitch Evans with the amount of traffic he had in this last sector.
Dennis into 16. Way back in trying to go.
Yeah, helped him rotate through the corner though.
Catches the right front. Scrappy through the final corner, right up to the wall. And does Dennis manage to improve? No. Lost quite a bit of time in those final couple of corners. Only maybe a tenth or so, but it's that's enough.
Yeah, he knows that if he ties a lap together, it's all looking good. Robert Fines looks like he caught one of the Neos through the 9, 10, 11 sector, and that might have cost him time.
Dennis said that was a terrible lap on the radio afterwards. Fries has to lunge it on Askew. He's only 2/10 down after the middle sector, but that will have cost him a decent amount of time. He's currently down in 22nd place, Robin Fries. Oh, and he's got traffic here from Degrassi too.
Yeah, Degrassi not helping at all. You probably couldn't see him, and it's massively out of shape through 17, puts him offline for 18. Dirt on the tyres.
Well, there was some pace in there as he comes across the line and comes up into 20th place, but it was a lot of traffic. That was like downtown Jakarta.
Traffic is pretty bad here.
Yeah, it's really bad. On board with Sam Bird, which is part of the reason that Jakarta wants a Formula E race here, to improve the governor was saying the other day, to improve the eco-friendly nature of the city and to improve the sustainability of the city. And traffic is a bad issue in Jakarta. Here comes Bird that we're on board with into the final corner. He's getting some traffic, and
DaCosta's on a lap. DaCosta 21st quickest right now, about 2.5 tenths up.
Vern's on a lap as well. Jean-Eric Vern's going quicker. The checker flag is ready. Mortara comes across the line. He goes third quickest, but look at Jean-Eric Vern, 4/10 up on Jake Dennis after the middle sector. DaCosta goes quickest, the 1 minute 7.993. The DS to Cheetahs flexing in the final minutes of free practice 2. Vern through the final corner, out across the line. DS to Cheetah 1-2. 4/10 Vern ahead of DaCosta.
Yeah, that's a massive margin.
That was where DaCosta lost some time in the final sector, so that's why he was 2/10 slower than Vern. Still to go second quickest with that huge moment is quite something.
Yeah, absolutely, Jack. And like you say, DS to Cheetah waiting till the end, and then there you go. 1-2.
No wonder they're all chuckling and having a bit of a laugh.
James Barkley looks very serious.
Fourth quickest for Mitch Evans, and I think everybody has completed their laps now.
If I'm sitting there as a driver right now, thinking if I'm Sam Bird, Mitch Evans, I'm thinking if I can tie a lap together, Jake Dennis too, if I can do a clean lap, I've got a shot. I've got a shot not only getting the duels, but a pole position too.
Neo ended up 6th and 7th.
That's really good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what happens come qualifying a little bit later on. But Jean-Eric Vern is the driver who ends the session fastest. A 1 minute 7.594. 7/10 clear of another team. Jake Dennis in third, Evans in fourth. I mean, and qualifying hasn't actually been DS to Cheetah's strength. Dan Tickton, 6th quickest in the end. And he was telling me yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before, doesn't matter, but he was saying that he's hoping that being a rookie, with everyone having a new track to learn, that can kind of play to his advantage a little bit. He backs himself as a driver who learns tracks quickly.
Yeah, I think he does, absolutely. And I can tell you from experience, it's so much easier when you're on a level playing field. When you show up somewhere and you're racing against guys who've got 3, 4, 5 years experience on the circuit, it's so difficult, especially with an hour of practice.
Like you at Surface Paradise.
Surface Paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some practice starts, some deciding not to take the practice starts, which is quite interesting.
I think tyres are so out of the window that they're going to have on the start that, they maybe think it'll put us off. We know what we've got. We'll just deal with it.
The starts are fairly even these days as well, aren't they?
Again, because of the technology.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's got the car and all the stuff that helps, but
And there's no need, you don't need to find a clutch bite point or anything like that.
yeah, especially with hand clutches, that's really difficult.
Yeah, I bet.
I always thought it was like eating your dinner with your feet.
I've never tried eating my dinner with my feet.
Neither have I.
Oh, okay, fine. I thought that was going to be some kind of revelation.
I want to see people try and go on the inside here.
Yeah.
See how dusty and dirty it is, otherwise it's going to come as a surprise on lap 1.
Here they come. As you see, they're both just slotting into that left-hand side, and then it kind of curves left a little, doesn't it, as well, on the run down to the first corner. Here comes Tickton. See, turning left to run with the wall on the outside, and then coming into the right-hander. Tony Felix da Costa. Second fastest, a 1 minute 7.993. I don't know how they know each other, but they appear to. Down at Mahindra. And a very, very strong start to the session, or start to the day, for DS Tachita, because Jean-Eric Vergne was 5th quickest in free practice 1. DS Tachita 1-2 in free practice 2. Jean-Eric Vergne ahead of Antonio Felix da Costa. Jake Dennis 3rd, Mitch Evans 4th, Eduardo Mortara in 5th, and then Tictum, Turvey, Verline, Giovinazzi and Van Dorn. So the two Neos and Giovinazzi all quite feel-good stories from that session. Stan Bird in 11th place, he got traffic on his second push lap. That's the reason he didn't actually improve on his second run. Nick Cassidy improved on the final lap to get up into 16th place, and Vision looked like they might be a little bit adrift, with Cassidy 16th, Freitz 21st. Okay, Freitz was only a couple of tenths down after the first sector before he then got traffic, but wasn't exactly setting the world alight. Oliver Askew for Avalanche Andretti down at the back, another rookie who you thought maybe it would favour coming into this weekend in Jakarta. Qualifying next. Tough to call.
Whoever puts the lap together has got a chance of getting into the duels here and getting on pole position. It's so close. You've got to put all 18 corners together.
Da Costa, certainly a popular gentleman, and he saying hi to everybody on his way past. He was with the Andretti team for a couple of seasons.
He's just a good guy.
He is. Andre Lotterer.
Nice headgear.
Yeah. Making his way back to the Porsche garage. Pascal Wehrlein, 8th quickest. Went quickest earlier on, didn't he? But then slipped away. Lost 3 tenths in the middle sector, 4 tenths in the final sector to Jean-Eric Vergne. The DS Cheetahs look... that's fairly ominous, those laps, weren't they?
Thought it was looking really good, really close, but they've just smashed it.
Yeah.
But I do think that, as I said, that they've got the ability to put a lap together to be right up there with them.
Evans 4th fastest for the Jaguar TCS racing team, also 4th in the championship standings, that double win in Rome launching him into contention. Dan Tictum, 6th quickest for Neo 333.
Always good when you go back to the garage, you look at the timesheet and your name's up there. Psychologically, nice to see.
And there is also Fan Boost to get involved with too. You can scan the QR code or head to FIAFormulary.com/fanboost to vote for your favourite driver to get an additional burst of power in the second half of the E-Prix. Stoffel Van Dorn winning it as ever. Da Costa involved in there as well. De Vries, Vergne and Evans, the 5 drivers currently receiving that vote. Vote once per day, and voting closes once the race is underway. Van Dorn, Da Costa, De Vries, Vergne and Evans, the driver with it at the moment. So, end of the second free practice session for the Jakarta E-Prix, the first ever Formula E race in Indonesia, the first single-seater motorsport race since 2006. And half of the gang wanted to get straight out on track. Antonio Felix da Costa locked up into turn 13, not for the first time today. Maybe not for the last. Mitch Evans ended the session 4th fastest as he was weaving his way through the traffic in the early stages, which was a real challenge. Nick De Vries diving out of the way at the final corner. There was also this moment as Freitz and Vergne and Cassidy went 3 wide. Into turn 13. Pascal Wehrlein was quick in the early stages, went to the top of the times, and then the Neos went into 1st and 2nd. Dan Tictum ahead of his teammate Oliver Turvey. Freitz got some more traffic here behind Lucas Di Grassi. That cost him lap time and meant he only finished the session 21st quickest. Jake Dennis was looking quick. he was at the top of the times. Going into the final few moments. Pit stop. And tyre changes all round for some final runs. And despite this lockup, Antonio Felix da Costa finished second quickest. And it was Jean-Eric Verne when the checker flag fell, who went 4 tenths quicker than his teammates, 7 tenths quicker than any other team. And DS Tachita looking very, very strong for qualifying, which is coming up in just an hour's time. Oliver Turvey has grown a moustache this weekend, and to reflect that, the team have affixed a moustache to the screen outside the garage. But it's going to be tough. And there is Oliver Turvey, and we'll be back qualifying in an hour. He goes fifth. Lucas Di Grassi is fifth. Di Grassi doesn't make it through. And Andre Lotterer, for the first time, doesn't advance through to the qualifying duels. Stoffel Van Dorn, Jean-Eric Verne, Jake Dennis and Sebastian Buemi, the 4 drivers advancing to the duels. Da Costa doesn't improve. Evans gets into 4th place. Is that going to be enough? Bird comes across the line and he's 6th. Can Nick de Vries push Evans out? No. Da Costa, Mortara, Verline and Evans, the 4 drivers that advance through to the duels. Evans will face Van Dorn. Verline will face Verne. Dennis will face Mortara. And Buemi will be up against Antonio Felix da Costa. Mitch Evans for Jaguar TCS Racing against Stoffel Van Dorn for Mercedes EQ. Evans sets the benchmark of a 1 minute 8.935. Van Dorn's closing a little more, 3 tenths of a second between them. Into the final corner, really up towards the wall there, Stoffel Van Dorn. But it's not enough for the championship leader. Verline up against Verne next. Big lock-up from Verline coming in at 13. Verline's benchmark time, a 1 minute 9.029. Verne is ahead though, but he's fighting the car. There's only 100th between them. Into the final corner. It's neat and tidy from Verne on the exit. Just a little correction as he drives to the line. It's Verne. Jake Dennis for Avalanche Andretti up against Eduardo Mortara for Rocket Venturi Racing.
Narrows it up.
Oh,
Did he get
right
the
to the wall on the exit of the final corner. Dennis's time is an 8.6. That's a very quick lap, and Mortara is going quicker still by a 10th and a half. Coming into the final turn, this is where Dennis looked pretty strong, and the gap is now less than a 10th of a second. Mortara turns in. Bit of a slide towards the line. It's going to be tight. Mortara. Sebastian Buemi for Nissan Edams and Antonio Felix da Costa for DS Tachita. Da Costa, I think you'd say, has to be the favourite for this one because of the pace he had earlier. Buemi's wide.
And that's going to kill his lap.
There, 6 tenths of a second, and Buemi gesticulates. He knows he made that mistake, and it should be neat and tidy now for Da Costa into the final corner. He's 7 tenths of a second ahead on the power, and then out towards the line, and it'll be Mortara versus Da Costa in the semi-finals. Mitch Evans for Jaguar TCS Racing against Jean-Eric Verne for DS Tachita. A tidy final corner, and this should be enough for Verne to get into the final. It's the line. And Verne's in the final. Eduardo Mortara is up against Antonio Felix da Costa. Oh, no. Big slide for Mortara. That's going to cost him a huge amount of time. It's slower than Mitch Evans' time, so that would be 4th on the grid for Mortara if he loses to Da Costa here. Da Costa across the line. It's a DS to Cheetah pole position. It's a DS to Cheetah front row. Vern's beaten DaCosta before earlier this year when they went head to head, but now the battle is for pole position. So the run down towards turn 1 for Jean-Eric Verne. Gets onto the brakes.
Oh, he's carried some speed in there. So far, so good for Jean-Eric Verne.
Through the first few corners, DaCosta starts his lap now, so keep an eye on the tower on the left-hand side. DaCosta into the first corner,
Bit messy
the
there.
curb.
Yeah, he's definitely fighting it a bit harder. And again, that and that might be it right there. Tyres might be slightly warmer than Antonio Felix DaCosta's car.
This is Jean-Eric Verne now coming into 11 and 12. He's having to fight it. DaCosta's lost 2 tenths with that moment at turn 3.
I think I'm going to lose my bet here, Jack.
But Verne has been a little scrappy here and there. Comes into 16, the advantage builds to a quarter of a second. A few more quarters to go for Jean-Eric Verne. He's now over 3 tenths of a second ahead. Jean-Eric Verne is about to become the record holder for the most pole positions in Formula E history. He's going to beat his teammate. He's going to grab 3 points. DaCosta's still fighting the car as he comes through the final couple of corners. Maximum attack from DaCosta, but minimum pace. Through the final corner, sliding again. It's like he's on a drift track, and it's not enough. Jean-Eric Verne takes pole position for the Jakarta E-Prix, his 15th pole position in Formula E, a new record. Sebastian Buemi with his best qualifying of the season so far, and the same is true of DaCosta and Verne. Front row lockout for DS to Cheetah. We go green in Monaco. Pretty good start from Evans. Verne got away a little slowly. Verline is going to the outside as they come into Sandoval. Lock up from Evans. Gets it in. The top 5 remain in place. Robin Freitz cuts the corner. He will maybe lose a position there.
Oh, and Verline comes for the move. Side by side into the chicane.
Oh, big lockup from Verline. Really interesting decision. And these two battling it out is bringing the rest of the field into play. There goes Freitz. Freitz gets Lotterer. And Roland goes for it. Can't quite get it done on DaCosta. And now Dennis has got the run on Roland. Up the hill. Side by side through Beau Rivage. Dennis is in attack mode. They're still side by side. And they're both going to go past DaCosta into Massenet. Goodness me. How is this going to end up? Into attack mode goes Jean-Eric Verne. And it is Roland who comes out in front. Then the DS to Cheetah. Then Jake Dennis. Verne has activated his attack mode.
We're watching this battle here. This is obviously DaCosta's run out of energy. He's managing to defend off Dennis. That's well done because Dennis has only got 8 seconds to go. DaCosta's just got to hold on till the back. Oh, he's touched him. They've touched from behind. Dennis ran to the back of him as DaCosta defended.
So Evans is going to go through attack mode here. Keeps to the right-hand side. Into the lead goes Pascal Verline. Van Dorn follows through, as does Lucas Di Grassi. All of a sudden, Jean-Eric Verne is in second place and in attack mode. But he's only got 40 seconds left.
Wow, as Van Dorn's move from Van Dorn goes past Price.
Here comes Verline into attack mode. Verne goes through. Evans comes out ahead. Side by side. So Jean-Eric Verne takes the lead. But he's going to have his work cut out now. And there is Evans losing out to Pascal Verline there. They're really short on energy here, the Jaguar team, as Evans now drops down to 3rd. Verne, is he going to cover the inside? He does. Verline to the outside, takes the lead of the Monaco E-Prix. Van Dorn is also up into 3rd place in the silver Mercedes. Oh, is that Verline slowing?
In trouble.
Verline slowing.
He's hit the wall.
From the lead of the race, it looks as though the back left is a bit wonky. Here's Robin Freitz and Lotterer steaming into the chicane, crunching each other, and Freitz loses out as well to Oliver Roland, who gets ahead. As they come down towards Tabac, Mortara and DaCosta side by side into Tabac, and Mortara comes out in front there. And there, Verne goes goes for his second attack mode pretty swiftly, and that means that Van Dorn is now in the lead, and he's grinding to a halt. Grinding to a halt here, Pascal Wehrlein, and that could be a full course yellow. Watch Wehrlein down at the bottom. He locks up, and then just sort of slows down, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Roland absolutely locked it into turn one, and it's ended up with Lotterer in the wall. And the safety car is deployed. Safety car deployed. This was just full send from Roland. Well, he was there. It was a legitimate move, but then lost it. Oh, just a little touch.
He was so quick, but look, he was having the accident on his own. But he just ended up hitting he was heading to the barrier on his own. I think, unfortunately for Andre, he was fair.
Van Dorn gets going into Anthony Noakes, and the race resumes. He's got a pretty decent getaway here, down towards Sanderbot. Degrassi to the inside. Freitz can't find the way through. Now up the hill.
He's got a good run out of Sanderbot. Let's see how brave he's going to be up the hill through Beau Rivage. Here we go.
Very brave and very through.
Oh, look at the car dancing on the brakes.
Mitch Evans goes into attack mode from second place. Is he going to come out in ahead of Freitz? It's going to be very close. No. Freitz has the inside. So Freitz now all of a sudden is up into third position. And coming down into Sanderbot, Freitz doesn't fight too hard. Evans is through. Evans to the outside. Can Verne hold him off? No, Evans gets through. Stoffel Van Dorn wins the Monaco E-Prix and moves to the lead of the championship.
Robert, mate.
Yes, boys. This is the one we just won Monaco!
Stoffel Van Dorn takes the victory, 1.2 seconds ahead of Mitch Evans, with Jean-Eric Verne in third. As far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned, Stoffel Van Dorn leads 6 points ahead of Jean-Eric Verne. And we go green in Mexico City after a long hold. Mortara gets away pretty well. So does Jean-Eric Verne. Mortara almost gets it, but Wehrlein comes over, covers the inside. Lotterer's on the outside. Verne sending a nose in as well. He and Da Costa almost come together. Everybody is safely through the first corner. Slow start from Oliver Turvey, but it is Pascal Wehrlein who holds the lead. Cassidy goes to the inside of Van Dorn. 3 wide into turn 9. Gunther almost gets done by both of them, and I think Cassidy got it done. Into the Florissant Baseball Stadium. 26,000 fans watching Van Dorn get ahead of Gunther. Whoa, Freitz and De Vries, the two Dutchmen going together, and Freitz gets ahead of De Vries. Here comes Mortara. He goes for it. Mortara in the Venturi takes the lead of the Mexico City E-Prix. Mortara leads. Whoa, Cassidy trying to get past Nick De Vries and manages to do it into turn 9.
Verne, he's now trying to do the dummy. He's going to make Lotter defend and then try and do the cutback, but I don't think there's anything doing just yet on that. But he's putting Lotter under pressure, causing him to use more energy and get offline.
Goes for it at 5, Verne. Lotter sees him coming. Gives him room.
Really nice.
Lotter is still there, and Verne can't quite get on the power. Needs to be careful because his teammate's going to be somewhere. He's got a great run though, coming into turn 9, and that is third place now for Jean-Eric Verne. He's in attack mode, and he uses it well to get ahead of Da Costa's through as well.
Could have been a bit more robust in
And
his
Verne's
defence.
ahead of Wehrlein. Verne gets Wehrlein coming down into turn 9. There to attack mode goes Wehrlein, and I think he got a little bit of a nudge from Da Costa behind him, and Da Costa's got damage. Front left, the bodywork's hanging off.
He might get pulled in to get rid of it. It looks like
Lotter
he's
is coming
slowing
back,
down.
and Freitz is going through as well. And what Da Costa does, oh, there it goes. Okay, it's come off now. I was about to say, he doesn't want it to get stuck under the wheel. The gold DS Vegeta covers the inside. Freitz goes to the inside too. Da Costa squeezes him. Freitz breaks on the dirty stuff, gets it done. And there's a lunge from Degrassi, and that is actually going to allow the Mercedes of Stoffel Van Dorn to get through. He's using his fan boost to defend as they come down into the stadium. They all get it stopped somehow. Evans getting involved too now as well. And here's Robin Freitz going for the move on Da Costa, very close.
Yeah, very late defence from Antonio Felix da Costa.
Down towards turn 1. Mortara leads, Verne second. This is it. Verline into second place. De Vries is using his attack mode for Mercedes EQ further back as he fights with Lucas de Grassi. A nod from Florian Modlinger, and following through is the other Porsche. Lotterer gets past Verne as well.
Here comes Robin Freins.
Freins going through as well. He's got less energy than Jean-Eric Verne, but he's ahead on track now. Verline is going to be on the attack for the lead in Mexico City.
And the fans get on their feet.
30,000 fans on their feet as Verline gets back into the lead. Had pole position, held the lead at the start. How quickly will Lotterer follow through? Down into turn 3, Lotterer sends it to Porsche 1-2.
Oh, here comes Freins to the inside of Mortara. On the dirty part of the track, Mortara locks up on the outside.
Freins gets it done. And Mortara's trying to get back. Now he's trying to defend from Da Costa, but there's nothing he can do. Championship leader slipping further and further back in the closing stages. Third is past Freins. No, Freins is trying to get back past Verne. Well, they've swapped places a few times, but Verne is now ahead of Robin Freins. There's a move now from Mortara, who's back ahead of Robin Freins. It's all about when the leaders cross the line. They're coming around the final couple of corners now. I think we're going to get 2 more laps. 5, 4, 3,
Oh, they are.
2, 1. It's the 2 more laps. Evans, Roland, Bird in big trouble. Here comes Freins on the attack from Mortara. Mortara pushes him right to the wall. Freins is never getting that stop. Wow, he has. That's absurd. Evans is getting involved in this fight too. Evans could be up into 5th place by the end of this race, but he hasn't got any energy left. Look, 2%. Evans, Roland, Bird, half the energy of those up in front. They've miscalculated and they're going to not score any points. It's a historic day for Porsche as they take their first Formula E win with a 1-2 in Mexico. Verline wins, Lotterer second. The Porsches were 9 seconds clear in the end of Jean-Eric Verne in third, Da Costa fourth. This is how the championship looks. Verline launches himself up into third place in the standings. All 5 lights are on, and we go green in Berlin. Charging down towards the first corner, and Freins might get overtaken here by Nick De Vries. De Vries goes for the lead. De Vries sends it, and from third position, he forces his way past Eduardo Mortara. A mega start from the reigning champion, and De Vries in the Mercedes EQ gets to the lead. Mortara in second. Freins is still in third, although the Porsche of Andre Lotterer is looking up the inside. Everybody safely around the first 2 corners. What a start from De Vries. He got his elbows out there.
Yeah, brilliant move by Nick De Vries there. Commit, bit of contact, stop of Van Dorn.
That's Van Dorn
with Verne, I think.
Yeah, Verne and Evans, those 2 all fighting each other, and they're all looking to the inside to try and make an overtake, not able to do so. Turvey looking racy on the inside there and has just taken 2 places, I think. De Vries activates attack mode. So Nick De Vries from the lead of the race activates his attack mode and drops down now to third position. You get a 13% power boost for 8 minutes, and you get 1 usage in the race. Freins activates attack mode, as does Andre Lotterer. So Lotterer is going to come out side by side with the Mercedes of Van Dorn, keeps out the way nicely, and now he's going to try and get past Da Costa straight away as they go for it into turn 5, and Robin Freins missed attack mode. Robin Freins tried to activate attack mode, didn't get it. Here comes De Vries. Focus on the energy, we're happy to follow, but he decides no, I'm going to the lead. And Da Costa, there was a move further back, and that is now Van Dorn getting ahead of Robin Freins. And this is very good for Van Dorn, that there is that big gap back to Evans in 8th and Verne in 10th, and he, meanwhile, has joined the lead back, and Da Costa goes second. And Mortara takes attack mode now. So Mortara activates his attack mode. Does he have the gap? Yes, he does. And there comes Van Dorn on Lotterer. So Van Dorn gets ahead of Andre Lotterer and up into third place. Mortara now has 3.5 minutes
to close in 3 seconds. Stoffel van Dorn is going to be the next driver that he'll try and get past, and he is able to get past, coming down into turn 6 and 7. So this is looking really doable for Da Costa to try and catch Nick De Vries. Needs to make this move as quickly as possible, Mortara, if he's got a chance of catching up. Oh, so late on the brakes. And there goes Freitz. Freitz goes through on Van Dorn as well. So Van Dorn shuffled back down to 6th position. Here comes Mortara on Da Costa. Coming into turn 7, Mortara's into 2nd place. And he's got 2 minutes to try and close in on Nick De Vries while he's in attack mode.
I don't think he's going to get De Vries, you know. Freitz goes for the move.
Freitz sends it into 5. Lucas de Grassi is 3rd. Van Dorn and Da Costa wheel to wheel. Da Costa gets the drive coming up to turn 3. This was Stoffel Van Dorn into 2. Quite lucky that Da Costa saw it coming, to be honest. Da Costa's on fan boost though, this could be the opportunity. Da Costa uses his fan boost, but he's on the outside, coming into 6 and 7, gets it done. Well, he might just send it. Also sending it, unsurprisingly, is Oliver Rowland, as he goes past Andre Lotterer. Freitz running in 6th. Oh, and there's the move from Van Dorn. Van Dorn attacks Da Costa. Does Rowland fancy it? He does. Rowland sends the dummy and gets around the outside. Very nice move from Oliver Rowland.
Oh, he's gone for it.
And De Grassi turns in, and Van Dorn has snuck up the inside. Bit of contact, I think you heard, but Van Dorn has made the move into 3rd place.
Yeah, he tried to put a squeeze on him there, but Van Dorn was having none of it and just carried on. Here comes Da Costa down into turn 2.
Rowland's another robust driver to try and overtake, but Da Costa's got it done, and now Freitz gets a reasonable drive, but he's not close enough coming into 4. On board with Freitz. Now down into turn 5, and Freitz sends it. This is where Freitz likes to make moves coming into 5. Da Costa knows it, so covers the inside. Freitz goes to the outside. This is his last chance coming down into turn 7. He can't quite get alongside. Tries to do the dummy. Oh, and they make contact down the straight.
Wow, what a save!
And here comes Nick De Vries out of the final corner. The checker flag is there, and De Vries wins. His 2nd win of the season for Mercedes EQ. Nick De Vries winning 2.4 seconds ahead of Eduardo Mortara, 7 seconds back to Stoffel Van Dorn in 3rd. 111 points for Stoffel Van Dorn at the top, 12 points clear of Eduardo Mortara. We go green in Berlin, and Evans doesn't move, and he's been hit. Mitch Evans has been hit by Eduardo Mortara. 2 title contenders out instantly. What an utter disaster for them. And suddenly, Nick De Vries and Jake Dennis are looking in the box seats. You could not have predicted it. You could not have foreseen it. And the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship takes another outrageous turn in the final race of the season. The safety car is deployed instantly. Evans' car just did not move. None of us thought that was going to happen. Green flag, and Stoffel Van Dorn gets the racing going again. But there's a huge gap back to the Nissan of Sebastian Buemi. And Jake Dennis is going on the attack immediately. And there's a look up the inside. Dennis is in the wall. Jake Dennis has lost it. And Dennis has crashed out. What on earth is going on in this title decider? Dennis in the wall, out of the race. Jake Dennis jumps out of the car. Green flag again, and Stoffel Van Dorn is leading, but he's only just ahead of Oliver Rowland. Does Van Dorn activate attack mode? No, but Rowland does. So Rowland goes through his first attack mode.
Norman Nato goes for the lead down the inside into turn 1.
Oh, wide there, Stoffel Van Dorn. He's made a mistake, and Alexander Sims is going to get through here. Side by side into turn 3. 20 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Rowland going for it on Van Dorn. Van Dorn's not in attack mode, and Rowland makes the move. And there goes De Vries. Nick De Vries going through, and he gets up into 6th position then. And There's the move from Roland. Roland gets through up into third position. Nick de Vries is having an absolutely storming drive, and it is a safety car. Safety car deployed. This is what happened to De Costa. It's Lucas de Grassi he's fighting with here in the Audi. De Grassi sells him the dummy. Goes up the inside.
Oh, Lucas.
Safety car in this lap, and we're going to get racing back underway. In comes the mini electric pace setter. Oliver Rowland is absolutely on it. He's got a brilliant restart. He's side by side, and Alexander Sims is there as well. Nato chops across the front to the outside. Goes Alexander Sims. They go late on the brakes. There's a bit of contact. Rowland nudging the back of Norman Nato, the race leader.
Oh, he goes for the move. A late defence from Alexander Sims. Here comes De Vries.
De Vries
to third.
sends it. Wow, what a move. But then here comes the Porsche of Pascal Wehrlein. Wehrlein gets ahead of Sims as well. And there to the outside. Oh, Sims fighting back. 3 wide into 2. It's Lotterer who's trying to get past, and De Vries has lost it. And now they're 3 wide coming towards turn 3. And this is the championship leader. And there's contact. The 2 Mercedes almost wiped out together. De Vries is on the marbles. He's now back behind the Porsches. De Vries has all the way dropped back to 7th place. And there goes Van Dorn up into 3rd. Stoffel Van Dorn into 3rd position.
I feel like I'm a little bit of a target at the moment.
I can see why. Well, that's a late one, and he sent it. Oh my goodness me! Nick de Vries put into the wall by Pascal Wehrlein. He went for it so late in the day, Nick de Vries, and his steering's bent.
Lotter again having a go at Sims, and he does it, but has he slowed it down enough? But a wheel banging.
And these two have come together before. They put each other in the wall in Puebla, and Sims is leaning on Lotterer onto the brakes into 2. Lotterer gets the move. Sims tries to get the drive out, coming towards turn 3. Lotterer moves across. Can't quite get past. Alexander Sims is defending like his life depends on it, and De Vries has to almost come to a halt to not go into the back, and has even hit from behind from Jean and Byrne. And there comes Sam Byrne. Where on earth has Byrne come from? And he goes through into turn. All of a sudden, is up into 7th place. De Vries will still win the championship if he finishes here. And is that a move? Up the inside is coming Verne. Oh, they're interlocked. Rast. Rast has gone for Verne. Norman Nato is going to win for the first time in the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. Nato wins. Poland 2nd. Van Dorn is 3rd. Delight for Rocket Venturi. But here comes Nick de Vries, the Mercedes EQ driver, out across the line. He finishes in 8th place, and he wins the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. Absolute delight. Mercedes EQ. They are the team's champions as well. Van Dorn delighted for him. A first win in the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship for Norman Nato. Oliver Rowland 2nd, Stoffel Van Dorn 3rd, Lotterer 4th, Sims in 5th. Nick de Vries' 8th position is enough to secure him the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship title. And what an absolutely frantic, frenetic and astonishing race that was. De Vries wins it by 7 points over Eduardo Mortara. Jake Dennis finishing 3rd, Mitch Evans is 4th, Robin Price is 5th, Bird in 6th, De Grassi 7th, reigning champion De Costa in 8th. It's a new champion in the team's championship with Mercedes EQ and Nick de Vries, the world champions. All 5 lights are up. We go green in Berlin. It's a pretty decent start from poleman Eduardo Mortara. Sims is coming with him. A bit slow from the second DS Agita, and round the outside. There's the hero move at turn 1. Is that going to pan out? It's looking trying to get into 2nd position, Antonio Felix da Costa, but he can't quite do it. Werner's lost out to Andre Lotterer. So Jean-Eric Werner's lost a spot. Mortara leads. Sims is 2nd. 3rd is da Costa. 4th is Lotterer.
The championship leader has not had a good start.
Was that a mistake from Verne? There might have been contact there. Jean-Eric Verne and Pascal Wehrlein. Wehrlein is through in towards turn 6. There's the look to the inside from da Costa, and da Costa is into 2nd place. Oh, he's not quite close enough here, Verne, but he does make the move. So Jean-Eric Verne up into 4th position. Race leader is Eduardo Mortara. There's Jean-Eric Verne. To the inside. inside at turn 6. Alexander Sims activates his attack mode, and they're still side by side, and whoa, Vern turns across boldly. Verline is using a bit more energy than those around him at the moment. Sims is coming through in attack mode as well to get past Vern, but Vern activates his attack mode.
We are faster than car in front with more energy. This lap turn 1, this lap turn 1.
And there is the team orders move. Lotterer to the inside of Pascal Verline. And Vern tried to get involved there as well. How hard is Verline going to fight it? Not hard at all. Verline to the inside. Is Da Costa coming through as well? The second DS to Cheetah forces his way up the inside. There's a bit of contact. Now they're going to be side by side towards turn 7. A very quick corner. And Da Costa gets through. So here comes the race leader through his first attack mode activation, and he's not that tight. Comes out in second position. That's worked quite nicely for Edo Mortara as far as first attack modes go.
Verline as well, using his attack mode as predicted. Mortara easy pass. Look at Sims coming down in attack mode as well, past Da Costa. Look at this, Vern having to coast and defend, and actually not as easy as I thought. Oh, yes, Van Dorn on Da Costa.
Neither of them are in attack mode, so that's just pure racing. So eyes everywhere as we come into turn 6. There goes Vern. He does get ahead, and his teammate Da Costa loses out to Verline, but activates his attack mode at the same time and doesn't lose any places. And there's a look from Van Dorn. Gets through. Van Dorn now up in a third place. Vern trying to get the switch back, but he can't quite get it done.
That is the Porsche of Andre Lotterer, who's gone, and he's going to get, wow, that's aggressive. Goes back at Jean-Eric Vern.
So Van Dorn activates attack mode. Does Mortara go into attack mode this time? He does. So Lotterer is going to move into the lead of the race, is he? Yes.
Van Dorn should get past Lotterer, and Mortara's going to go with him. So, right, the battle for the win is going to be between these two, isn't it?
Coming down into turn 6. Mortara's through. Vern is attacking Lotterer as well, but Eduardo Mortara back in the lead of the Berlin E3.
5 laps to go.
Vern's using his fan boost. Jean-Eric Vern's going for it, coming down into turn 6. Is he going to be close enough to the back of Stoffel Van Dorn? He knows he has to send it. Turns it in, gets it stopped, and Vern is through. Vern and Van Dorn defending Eduardo Mortara, and through goes Vern. But then Mortara gets him back, and Van Dorn is going to try and get through on Vern. The championship contenders wheel to wheel into turn 7, and suddenly that has allowed Andre Lotterer to join the fight. But Vern and Van Dorn the championship leader, Vern in second, and they're fighting it out. What happened with Mortara? It's like he defended and tricked Vern into attacking, and then he just got him back.
Very similar energy. I think Van Dorn's still holding a little bit more. What does he do here? He's got Lotterer all over the back of him, and he's trying to...
Assalamu alaikum. 10 million Afghans are on the brink of starvation. Subhanallah.
He comes through the hairpin at 13, now into turn 16. Work out.
Yeah, what we don't know right now, again, is battery temperature, how much the guys can regenerate, how much energy they can put into the battery without overheating the battery. It's like your phone, when you charge your phone up, you do it quickly, it heats up even more. So see, Jean-Eric Vern all over the back already of Mitch Evans.
24 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Evans, Vern, Mortara, Da Costa, Van Dorn. The same 4 again. Down into the hairpin of turn 13.
Jean-Eric Vern had a snap of oversteer as he came out of turn 12. I thought he was going to make an attempt into 13, but he's got that snap of oversteer that cost him distance to the car in front.
Does Evans go for it this time? He does not. Mortara is still in attack mode. Then into attack mode go the 2 Porsches, Verline and Lotterer from 7th and 9th, respectively. Energy remaining, Jean-Eric Vern has a little less than those around him. He and Da Costa have a little less, but there's pretty much nothing in it. And here comes Vern for the lead of the race. Into turn 1, and Jean-Eric Vern takes the lead. Evans, I thought, was going to try and get the cut back into turn 2, but it wasn't to be. But Evans still has an attack mode to use.
Yeah, that would have been a brave move, Jack. Turn 1, 2 and 3 really went to one long corner, and Mitch Evans just discretion being the better part of valor right there.
Costa, Van Dorn and De Vries are the 5 drivers with fan boost, so they will get a 5-second power boost in the second half of the race. So 4 of the front 5 receiving the fan boost vote. Right up to the wall, down into turn 13. So Evans, has he got enough of a gap to go for it now in the Jaguar in second place? Let's have a look. No, not this time.
I was going to say, does he wait until Mortara runs out of attack mode behind him? As we see Stoffel Van Dorn, the Mercedes take it. Lucas de Grassi in the second of the Black Rocket Venturis as well.
And he comes out just in front of Andre Lotterer, who they were fighting earlier on. Now Van Dorn tried to take attack mode but missed it. Missed attack mode, Stoffel Van Dorn, so that has cost him a good few seconds and maybe has knocked him out of the lead battle. So that's really frustrating for Stoffel Van Dorn. Eduardo Mortara is now out of his first attack mode. Jean-Eric Verne leading. He's in attack mode for another minute. Evans has another one. Mortara has another one. And I think it's those kind of 4 for the win. I don't think Jake Dennis in 5th place is going to be able to make much progress.
Jake Dennis in the red Andretti, he looks like he's on more of an offensive posture right now than attacking.
There is Dennis, just ahead of Stoffel Van Dorn. We'll see if Van Dorn goes for it again into attack mode here. No, the top 4 do.
Confirm attack. Confirm attack.
Van Dorn goes for it again and activates it this time around. So he is now in 6th position. 7th position, make that. Berline gains another place, so he's been up 5 places so far in the course of this E3. Verne's lead is looking fairly comfortable as they come down into turn 1. Jean-Eric Verne now runs out of fan boost. That's Stoffel Van Dorn missing the attack mode activation, frustratingly for him.
Yeah, very frustrating. We've seen it happen so many times, Jack. The margin for error is very limited, and obviously the driver's trying to catch as much speed as possible to lose the minimum amount of positions as they go through attack. But again, Jake Dennis, look, he's got Pascal Wehrlein behind him in the Porsche. He's just not happy, it looks like, with the balance, with the speed of the car as we get 25 minutes into this race.
Verlein's having a great race. Really impressive.
Very methodical, isn't he? Yeah, super methodical. Still got attack mode. And he'll be looking to, as Jake Dennis goes to attack mode now, and that saves Pascal Wehrlein having to pass him now. Wehrlein's got a clear track to Antonio Felix da Costa, who's just up the road from him.
20 minutes plus 1 lap to go as Verne comes across the line. Down into turn 1. Here with 20 minutes plus a lap to go in the Jakarta E-Prix, round 9 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. Myself, Jack Nichols and Dario Franchitti with you as we watch these electric cars racing around the streets of the Indonesian capital. And Jean-Eric Verne is leading at the moment by about a second, looking comfortable enough, but Mitch Evans behind him has another attack mode to use in the Jaguar, as does Eduardo Mortara, who's 3rd at the moment in the Black Rocket Venturi car.
Just watching Jake Dennis, just looks like he's not happy with the balance, Jack. The front of the car is sliding on the way through the middle of the corner, and the back snaps round on exit, so yeah, just a lack of grip, and you can see even with attack mode, he's going backwards.
Top 4 running fairly comfortably now, clear of the rest of the field. And there is the rest of the field, all behind Pascal Wehrlein in 5th place. There come the leaders across the line again. So Verne in the lead, Mitch Evans in 2nd, Mortara in 3rd, Da Costa in 4th. And here's a look from Van Dorn on Wehrlein. Silver Mercedes EQ gets through. So that is 5th place for Van Dorn. He's in attack mode, so he's got extra power and gets ahead of the Porsche man. You can see the rear view from Jean-Eric Verne up in the tower on the top left. That's looking back at Evans trying to chase him down.
Yeah, and Evans closed the gap a couple of tenths that lap. If he can keep that up, he's going to be on the back wing of the black and gold Techeetah pretty soon. See the car sliding as they come through turn 12, just actually turn 11 into 12. Just the grip of the car, they're really on top
Qatar have? And are they just trying to wait for each other to...
Are you looking for a way to supplement your income so that you can stay at home with your children? I was in the same position as you just over 4 years ago, and I'm so happy to say that we found a solution. Hi, my name is Tanya, and my husband's name is Derek, and we have been blessed with 3 beautiful children. We're now living here in Alberta.
Yo, apa kabar Anda semua? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ketemu di Waalaikumsalam. Bersamaan dengan Formula E digelar pagi ini, Bung Rocky ya. Saya baca sudah mulai berlangsung itu latihan-latihan di sirkuit Formula E, dan Presiden juga dipastikan akan hadir. Jadi beliau juga ini disertai dengan Ketua MPR yang juga Ketua ini Ikatan Motor Indonesia, yaitu Bung Rocky.
Nah, ini kecemasan akhirnya pindah ke istana. Kalau panitianya dan gubernur udah lega karena merasa bahwa oke, nggak ada problem lagi, kepastian BUMN tidak mensponsori udah selesai. Jadi problem Anies selesai, sekarang tinggal problem Jokowi. Karena bagaimanapun Jokowi nggak datang, dia akan dibully, dia datang juga akan dicemooh gitu. Jadi itulah akibat kalau kalkulasi itu tidak dihitung dari awal tuh. Jadi Pak Jokowi sebetulnya punya dilema. Ini bukan kesalahan Pak Jokowi, tapi ini kesalahan Erick Thohir yang tidak bisa mengantisipasi opini publik tuh. Kalau Erick Thohir bisa antisipasi, tentu dia akan minta Pak Jokowi izinkan untuk mensponsori, sehingga orang akan anggap oke, Pak Jokowi itu peduli pada olahraga sekaligus tidak bermusuhan dengan Anies. Tapi karena Erick Thohir ingin bersaing dengan Anies, nah getahnya kena ke Pak Jokowi. Jadi buah nangkanya ada pada Erick Thohir, getahnya pada Pak Jokowi. Nah, ini Pak Jokowi mesti evaluasi nih menterinya yang nggak bisa berpikir strategis. Jadi kita bayangkan nanti, ya Pak Jokowi pasti hadir karena itu keputusan terbaik itu kan, nggak mungkin beliau ada di Jakarta kecuali beliau bilang ya saya mau pergi ke daerah terpencil di Indonesia buat lihat pembangunan kandang bebek atau kandang ayam gitu. Kan nggak bisa lagi kan. Beliau ada di Jakarta, maka dia nggak mungkin kalau diam-diam di istana. Dia mesti hadiri racing edisi Indonesia ini, Formula E. Jadi sekali lagi itu kesulitan komunikasi politik aja tuh. Tapi tentu kita seperti biasa, Pak Jokowi silakan datang dan kita minta supaya publik menghormati. Walaupun di WA group yang terpenonton pasti berada gila tuh orang nongol kagak nyumbang, kira-kira begitu kan. Tapi tetap etika politik mesti dipelihara. Mudah-mudahan tidak ada insiden yang mengolok-olok Pak Jokowi. Karena di mana-mana orang udah nunggu Pak Jokowi muncul lalu diolok-olok. Di luar negeri aja diolok-olok, apalagi masuk ke arena ke wilayah komunitas Anies Baswedan di Jakarta. Kan itu bahayanya kalau kita dari awal nggak punya wisdom untuk melihat politik dengan akal pikiran itu. Hanya karena demi persaingan politik, lalu Pak Jokowi akhirnya kehilangan kemewahan dia sebagai kepala negara. Ini cuma problem BUMN yang pelit, kira-kira begitu.
Saya jujur saya rada-rada ngeri-ngeri sedap nih nunggu momen ini. Mudah-mudahan saja skenario terburuk yang kita bayangkan itu tidak terjadi, ada kedewasaan gitu. Tapi namanya crowd gitu ya, itu kan nggak bisa kita hindari ya kan. Seperti biasa kalau kita tahu ada satu yang teriak yang lain ikut teriak, atau ada satu yang lempar kemudian ikut yang lempar gitu. Itu yang bahayanya ya, karena itu kan memang di bawah sadar mereka sudah mengendap soal itu.
Ya itu mestinya tadi malam Pak Muldoko atau penasihat presiden baca ulang psikologi masanya Labong gitu, supaya tahu bahwa begitu ada kumpulan massa itu akal sehatnya berhenti, karena orang akan mengaduk-aduk bagian dangkal dari manusia, yaitu keinginan untuk menguasai itu. Jadi massa selalu punya psikologi. Jadi kalau ada terjadi keributan itu jangan disalahkan orang per orang, karena sifat massa itu pasti berbeda dengan sifat individual. Begitu kita masuk dalam logika massa, maka berhenti seluruh kemampuan kita untuk mengevaluasi diri. Jadi sekali lagi ambil aja risiko itu karena ini ada ilmu pengetahuan tuh, bahwa massa itu tidak dalam posisi untuk menghendaki Jokowi jadi presiden lagi itu bisa terekspresi di mana-mana. Walaupun Pak Jokowi udah ngomong nggak akan jadi presiden, masa masih lihat ini orang masih punya ambisi. Kemarin di NTT terbukti dia disediakan fasilitas untuk memungkinkan 3 periode diucapkan lagi. Dia apalagi publik Jakarta menganggap udahlah ini Jakarta ini punya kami tuh, dan presiden itu bukan lagi punya kami karena banyak bohongnya. Nah, saya mau terangkan ini sebagai tadi endapan bawah sadar publik yang kemudian bisa terucap oleh tadi 1-2 orang, lalu semuanya merasa oke. Ada kanalisasi, lalu rame-rame flash mob apa istilahnya itu untuk membuli ya Presiden Jokowi kan. Tentu ada aparat di situ, tapi itu nggak mungkin lagi itu. Jadi sekali lagi hanya himbauan jujur dari kami FNN dan teman-teman supaya hormati Pak Presiden kalau beliau lagi ada di tempat itu, sebab nanti itu punya potensi untuk membelah bangsa ini lagi. Kalau kecemasan itu tidak bisa diatasi, maka kita anggap bahwa ya udah nggak ada gunanya membayangkan pemilu, karena pemilu juga akan masuk di dalam psikologi masa yang sama. Itu bahayanya sekali lagi kalau orang-orang sekitar presiden itu otaknya dangkal.
Oke, mari kita bedah secara dingin gitu persoalannya ya, kalkulasi plus minusnya dengan kehadiran Presiden Jokowi dan atau ketidakhadiran. Saya melihat dua-duanya sebenarnya tetap merugikan Presiden Jokowi, tapi lebih ya kalau beliau hadir itu tetap untung lah gitu, meskipun kemudian mulai dipersoalkan ini kenapa kemudian nanti Presiden ada great walk, kemudian juga akan menyapa para pembalap dan sebagainya gitu, dan itu kan jadinya walaupun panggung sepenuhnya diberikan kepada Pak Jokowi, tetap saja orang menganggap itu sebagai panggung yang semu gitu.
Ya, itu panggung semu itu akan diikuti oleh ucapan semu, kira-kira begitu kan. Jadi bahaya beginian, karena sebenarnya bisa disimulasikan di istana tuh. Kalau memang ada orang-orang yang paham tentang potensi kekacauan ini, tapi semua orang sepertinya ingin menjebloskan Presiden Jokowi, bahkan orang-orang istana, karena mereka nggak berada di dalam upaya untuk memperlihatkan dari awal Pak Jokowi kan udah datang dengan Anies. Oleh karena itu harus dipastikan event internasional ini mesti berlangsung. Supaya berlangsung mulus, maka negara harus bantu supaya dapat kejelasan. Presiden Jokowi mesti perintahkan Erick Thohir untuk keluarin uang. Ini bukan sekedar biaya teknisnya, tapi ini simbol bahwa BUMN itu jujur, BUMN itu tidak pilih kasih itu. Kalau sesuatu yang menguntungkan pihak kandidasi Jokowi, BUMN turun tangan. Kalau yang oposisi Anies, BUMN nggak mau bantu tuh. Padahal ini badan usaha milik negara, bukan milik pemerintah tuh. Di situ publik Jakarta bisa bedakan. Karena itu kemarahan publik Jakarta ya bisa muncul di dalam hiruk pikuk yang bersifat mengolok-olok nanti tuh. Jadi memang dilemanya di situ tuh, dan kita nggak bisa putuskan dilema apa, karena setiap momentum di mana ada massa itu bisa berubah setiap saat berdasarkan isu pertama yang diucapkan oleh orang pertama tuh di dalam stadion. Lain kalau di DPR, kalau ada gejala isu bakar melebar, ya dengan gampang satu orang yang pegang teknisi mikrofon ya matiin aja tuh, selesai problem.
Saya membayangkan kira-kira gini lah posisi Pak Jokowi ini nanti kenapa ini, jadi sebenarnya beliau tetap unwanted person gitu ya, atau tapi kemudian kalau beliau berusaha tampil seperti biasa jadi aktor, jadi center of attraction gitu, jadi pusat perhatian, nanti dia bisa unwanted actor gitu.
Ini ada istilah dalam psikologi bifurkasi ini, di ujungnya dia mendua, akhirnya bifurkasi itu ke kanan atau ke kiri Tapi dia bisa ambil sebetulnya terobosan itu. Dan itu tergantung kemampuan Pak Jokowi untuk membayangkan kalimat pertama yang akan diucapkan. Kalau dia bisa minta bantuan FN akan bikinin satu paragraf tuh, di mana Pak Jokowi akan pukau masyarakat itu dengan oke, saya dan Pak Anies berbeda pendapat dan pilihan saya dengan Ganjar berbeda pendapat, tapi saya dengan masyarakat Jakarta tidak pernah berbeda pendapat, terutama di sirkuit ini. Kira-kira begitu kan? Oh, ini saya udah bocorin ya. Jadi kalau begitu dengan gaya yang agak santai, kebetawi-betawian, karena orang Betawi kan enak tuh kalau
Kumusta, kabayan? Ikaw ba'y naghanap ng paraan na sana maka-earn ikaw ng extra income para mabigyan mo ng mabuting pamumuhay yung pamilya mo? Pangarap mo talaga na madala mo sila ng mga holidays around the world na walang sakit sa ulo. Nakapagod ka na sa trabaho. Lagi lang trabaho, pagbayad ng bills. But you never had time for yourself to relax. Kabayan, may solusyon ako sa'yo. Ako pala si Adela, may asawa, 3 mga anak, galing Cebu. Dito na ako ngayon nanirahan sa Melbourne, Australia. More than 20 years, I came to Australia as a migrant. Naghanap ng magandang kinabukasan. I wasn't able to practice my profession kasi may requirement sila na we have to qualify their standards. So naghanap na lang ng kahit anong trabaho. Awa ng Diyos, may blessings at nakatulong din sa pamilya sa atin. Pero medyo pagod ng katawan kasi tumatanda na, ayoko nang magtrabaho, so naghanap ako ng paraan para maka-earn ako ng extra income. I come across an ad offering a free webinar on how to start a digital business. I dove into it. I registered my name, my email address, watched the webinar, and I found out that it was a business community of ordinary people. There was even young couple. Bayad na sila ng lahat nilang commercial debts. Nakatulong din sila sa aging parents nila. At ang nakaganda ngayon, nag-finish na sila sa full-time job nila. Under 40s pa sila, focus na sila dito sa business nila. What I love about this business, kabayan, kasi